Howdy folks, I'm Brash Orange Barred Sulfur, brazenly barring bad bugs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more bad bugs for us to bar from our general life, like mosquitoes. Those are the bad bugs that we are barring from our lives. Oh, and folks, if you're new to this show, or this is your first time viewing, welcome! This is a show where we teach you how to get fired from your job in 3 easy steps.
No, I guess you could take that away from this, but I don't recommend doing that, and we're not trying to teach that.
Let's get started! The sooner you're unemployed, the happier you'll be. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Selling My Neighbors a Thrifted Rocking Chair That I Just Bought? I honestly have no words. I'm a 27-year-old and I just bought my house in July 2024. We have learned that most of the neighbors here are all old. I think that these neighbors are all like in their 60s plus, and they are all very nosy and ornery. That young families are moving in to the neighborhood in recent years. They will just walk up to you and tell you this. I've been shopping thrift and estate sales to furnish this cute house. This morning, I came from an estate sale with a beautiful wing-back rocking chair. It needs to be reupholstered as the leather on it is in terrible condition and the previous owner started pulling it off. I'm unloading it from the bed of my truck when a neighbor, Carol, sticks her giraffe neck out over the fence and starts squawking about how beautiful it is. I said thanks, I got it from an estate sale for $10. This triggered the parasites in her brain and, I kid you not, teleported over to the truck. She starts going off about how much she needs a chair to rock the grandkids to sleep in and how much she would appreciate it if it was hers. I told her that I got it for my future babies to be rocked and sleep in and that it still needs a lot of work before it can even be used. Mind you, this chair is large and she is very small. This is when she starts offering me money, $15, because it's more than what you paid for. Then telling me that I don't need it because I don't have kids yet and her grandkids are only going to be little for so long. I firmly told her that I wasn't interested in selling it and then she offered me $20. I was standing in the bed of the truck looking down at her on the driveway and I firmly said, no, Carol, I'm really not interested in selling this. Please go home. And she pointed to her side of the fence. Apparently, this was shouting at her and she became aggressive. She ran home and later that day, her husband said something to my husband as he was getting home from a game, telling him that I spoke to her like a dog and was being a nasty neighbor, and that my husband needs to straighten me out. Are my neighbors just being ridiculous? Was I actually rude to her? Edit, I tried to attach a photo of the chair, but I can't attach it on this community. Edit, I meant no offense when I said old. I know that 60 is only halfway through a lifetime. I was just trying to paint a caricature of who Carol and our other neighbors are. There is something really wrong with the folks in this cul-de-sac. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. It doesn't seem like OP approached this unreasonably at all. I think telling someone, no, I don't want to sell you my chair is perfectly reasonable after being repeatedly harassed for your chair.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the whole idea of the neighbor telling her husband that he needs to get OP in line. Like, OP is not a dog.
Well, the fact that he's like, the neighbor's like, you need to straighten your wife out. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of rude. I understand that Carol maybe felt hurt in the moment here, but it doesn't sound like OP said anything to her that was actually rude. OP just said, no, I'm not interested in selling my chair to you. Please leave, Carol. That's not rude. I mean, you do not have to sell your property to people. Like, you do not, it's part of the reason why it's your property. You
Yeah.
can decide what you want to do with it. If Carol wants a rocking chair this badly, then what she needs to do is she needs to go on over to an estate sale or a store or somewhere and buy herself a rocking chair. They aren't as scarce as she seems to think that they are. So, I don't know. I just think that this is a pretty unreasonable demand and that OP didn't do anything wrong here.
Indeed.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Mom Ratosi Os says, try to get more information on the chair. It could be an expensive antique and Carol spotted that and knew that you didn't. I wouldn't be surprised. And OP replies, I was thinking the same thing, but it could also totally be from Poetry Barn. Unfortunately, there are no tags or maker marks on it. Half of the upholstery has been removed. And Schmog says, everyone will tell you that you're not the jerk, But pointing and telling her to go home was the worst way to handle this. It's disrespectful, even if you were annoyed. She's just an excited old woman. You need to learn patience, tact, and how to deflect with humor, especially when dealing with people that you live next door to and will see all the time. The best thing would have been to apologize for being short with her and that you had an exhausting day, to keep the peace and leave it at that. Undoubtedly, she'll keep her distance from you after this debacle, but at least you'll stop this from snowballing into an all-out vendetta between the husbands and the negative reputation with the rest of the neighbors. And OP replies, I can see how it felt that way to her. I was just frustrated and surprised by her behavior. I also don't like talking to people, so I defaulted to go away. Should I apologize? I don't want to encourage her behavior or reward her husband's either. But I didn't mean to upset her. She just wasn't listening. So what do you think of that comment about her pointing and that was a rude thing?
I mean, I don't know that given the circumstances, like it wasn't like OP immediately was like, first thing the lady comes up and is like, no, go away. Like I don't think pointing is necessarily even rude, but like this woman was repeatedly harassing OP for this chair,
Yeah.
trying to bargain this chair out of OP's hands, and OP was politely refusing.
Yeah.
You know, the rude person here is the neighbor who couldn't take no for an answer multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they have a little bit of a point, but I also think that it's kind of undercut by the fact that OP tried to be polite with Carol and tried to tell Carol that she wasn't interested in selling the chair, and Carol just wasn't having any of it. At a certain point, what can you even do, right?
Well, exactly. And I mean, I think the husband is even worse in the respect that he's, telling him to, like the OP's husband that he needs to like control OP. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not okay. And so I certainly wouldn't be apologizing to them. I understand that like neighborly relations may be strained, but they've been terrible neighbors.
Yeah, it sounds like OP, this is just one of many incidents, and maybe even just a breaking point for OP. It's a hard situation. It's hard. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not taking down my yard flamingos after my neighbors complain? I bought a house a couple of years ago, and I've been working on making it look nicer. I spent a lot of time redoing the front gardens, trying to make it neat and nice. A few weeks ago, I was at a greenhouse buying some plants for the garden, and I saw 2 yard flamingos marked down on clearance. I knew then that they belonged in my garden. They're not everyone's cup of tea, but I think that they are a lot of fun. I set them up when I got home, and a couple of days later, my neighbors were knocking on my door. She was demanding that I take down my lawn flamingos because they're extremely gauche and lowering the property value of the neighborhood. I told her that I'm not taking them down because I like them, and the property value isn't going to be hurt by 2 yard flamingos. I also don't live in an HOA, and as far as I'm aware, there are no town ordinances about lawn flamingos. She posted a picture of my house, the street that I live on, and a close-up of my flamingos in our town's Facebook group to complain about them. Some people agreed that I should take them down. After that, another neighbor came over and told me to get rid of them. My mom also agreed that I should take them down to keep the peace with my neighbors. I like them, and I smile when I see them when I pull into my driveway. I have no plans to take them down. Am I the jerk for not taking down my yard flamingos after some neighbors complain? Edit, everyone keeps suggesting garden gnomes. I kind of hate those a lot, but also I would never say anything to someone with a yard full of gnomes. But I won't buy it. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, OP. And you know what you need are costumes for the lawn flamingos. Like get them a little everyday wear, and then like special like occasions wear, like Halloween costumes and like different holiday costumes. Like go all out and have fun with these flamingos.
Yeah, like little Christmas hats and stuff like that.
Exactly, exactly.
Little pumpkin baskets that they can carry their candy in.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I don't think that that's a bad idea. I mean, I think making the flamingos seasonal could very well be a fun way to keep the tradition of the flamingos alive. As for whether or not the other neighbors have a right in whether or not OP needs to take them down, they don't.
Well, that's it exactly. Like this isn't an HOA. There's no town ordinances against lawn flamingos. They can dislike them all they want, but OP shouldn't have to cave to them. Like it's a couple of lawn flamingos.
Yeah, at least it's not a whole pile of junk.
Yeah. Yeah, well that's the thing. It's like there's so many worse things people could have in their yards. Like how like how little do you have to do with your day that you're fretting over your neighbor having 2 lawn
Well,
flamingos?
and that's it too, right? I mean, like these people need to find better hobbies, right?
Exactly.
Like OP is just doing what makes them happy. It's not like OP is going over to their houses and trying to like regulate what they have in their yards.
Hmm.
And it's not even like OP is buying flamingos and then just like randomly decorating different yards with them on a daily
Hmm.
basis. Like I could understand with neighbors being upset and annoyed by that if they came out to their yard every day and found new flamingos, right? Like, oh, it started off with one flamingo and the next day it was two, and before I knew it was like 4 and 8 and 16. Like I would be annoyed if I kept coming out to new flamingos and I didn't like flamingos, right? But that's not what is happening at all. I mean, it's just that OP is enjoying their own property.
Well, exactly. You know what? This story makes me want to dig out my scalamingos and put them out.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It's like everyone's going to have their own taste in different decorations. And, the neighbors just need to build a fence if they're tired of looking at the flamingos, I think. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Uncle Rat 21 says yard flamingos are about the dumbest thing ever. They are extremely gauche and probably are lowering the value of the property in the neighborhood. Not by much, and not unless the neighbors decide to sell. You have become a laughing stock, and now your house and yard are all over the internet. That being said, you do you, definitely not the jerk. And OP replies, a removable object in my yard is lowering property value? Really? I've done more to raise the property value than take away. I don't think that the neighborhood is hurting because of a couple of things that I could pick out of my yard easily enough. But by redoing the garden in the front, I've made the house look much nicer. What do you think of that person?
I do not appreciate their attitude. Like, each to their own, I don't think there's anything wrong with lawn flamingos. They're a fun little decoration. I mean, I may be biased because I have skeletal flamingos, but, I don't see anything wrong with having them out.
I don't think that they'll lower the property value.
No.
And I
I
think that,
mean, if they did, it'd be like a cent. Like, how
yeah,
much can a couple of removable lawn decorations really lower the property value? I think most people are just like, sure, maybe they don't love the lawn flamingos, but like that's not going to make or break a house sale for you.
I mean, if it was like a permanent art installation where there was a gigantic cement flamingo like sitting in the front yard, towering over the neighborhood with its little cement filled flamingo eyes, then I mean, maybe they might have a little bit better of a reason to complain about it. Look, it's about to tip over. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but in the shape of a flamingo. I think that this is a hazard. It's tall enough that it's probably going to crush my house when it does fall. Okay, yeah, maybe they would have a point there, but there are no giant flamingos. This is an absurd. This has been reduced to absurdism.
I mean, what's next? Your kids can't have toys in their lawn because they've reduced the property value?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And Uncle Rat 21 replies again, only if a neighbor decides to sell. Why? Because a potential buyer will see the plastic flamingos and think to themselves, well, a dumb person lives there. Do I really want to live next door or across the street from someone who is this dumb? Wonder what the other kind of dumb things that they do are. Maybe I'll lowball it. A former realtor here, I've seen weirder things, but again, you do you. And Opie replies, but how much are my flamingos really going to set back the property value? What do you think of this realtor?
I mean, first of all, I think people need to lay off on the property value thing. I understand people wanting to get money out of their houses, but like, you can't control other people.
Yeah,
And if, houses shouldn't be treated like this massive investment. Like, it's really unfortunate the way that we do treat them in our
yeah,
society. They should be a place to live,
yeah.
and they shouldn't be these massive money making machines.
Well, I think that's really gets to the crux of it, right? Like, people should, because people talk about their property value all the time, like it's some actual figure that matters, right? Your property value doesn't matter unless you're literally selling the house,
Hmm.
right? Otherwise, your house should just be the place that you want to live in and are making your own, right? Don't be so focused on how much your house is going to sell in 30 years when you finally get around to selling it, because guess what? You have no idea in 30 years how much your house is going to sell for, right?
Right. And I mean, I don't want to live wherever this realtor is working because, like, if everyone is so snooty about lawn flamingos, like I wouldn't like judge someone. I'd be like, oh, they have some lawn flamingos. How fun. I wouldn't be like, psh, I don't want to live across the street from that person.
Yeah, they're committing war crimes with flamingos. The flamingos have like axes and stuff like that attached to them,
Oh,
or
that'd be
rusty
fun.
rusty
Oh,
nails.
I love that. Maybe like apocalypse flamingos or something.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to stop bringing action figures to the job my girlfriend got for me? I'm a 26-year-old male, and I just recently got a job at an administration firm thanks to my girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, who spent a few weeks formatting my resume and putting in good words with her boss. Well, to get straight to the point, I enjoy playing with action figures, mainly my Avengers, and I bring my collection to my desk every day so that I can play with them while I'm at work. However, my boss has come by pretty frequently and has caught me a number of times playing with my action figures and considers it slacking off. I explain that I do this periodically to relieve stress and get my mental juices flowing, but my boss doesn't listen. So my girlfriend came up to me recently and asked me if I could possibly stop playing with those figurines at my desk, as she's heard my boss scolding me and it can come across as unprofessional. She says that she worked really hard to vouch for me, so it's important to show a good workmanship in this early period. She suggested that maybe I keep one or two action figures at my desk, but I try to leave the rest at home. Personally, I didn't really like what she was saying to me, and I told her that I was thankful for her getting me the job, but she had no right to tell me not to bring my figurines there. It's not a company policy not to bring figurines, so I refuse to stop bringing my figurines. I asked her if it's because she was embarrassed of me, and she said that's not the reason. But I called BS, and then she just shook her head and walked off. I haven't heard from her for the rest of the day, so I'm wondering if I'm actually the jerk here. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, OP. I think you're not going to be having a job for much longer at the rate you're going. Because it sounds like you are playing with your action figures during work time and have already been caught by your boss repeatedly.
Yeah.
The issue isn't that you are displaying action figures in your cubicle. The issue is that you are using them during work time.
Yeah, I mean, the boss is seeing OP playing with them and is kind of viewing this as them not taking their job seriously. And, like, I actually kind of sympathetic towards OP a little bit, because I do think that people should be able to relieve stress during the day when they're working. And if this is an effective way for OP to relieve stress, like, how is that any different than like a stress ball or something like that, right? And so maybe there's some gatekeeping going on here, and I'm not really sure, right? But the fact of the matter is that, just because it's something isn't in the manual doesn't mean that it isn't going to be something that can get you fired, right? Because if they see that your performance isn't up to what they think it should be for one reason or another, then they're going to be able to say, well, it's because of the action figures. So they're going to give, OP's just giving them ammunition right now to basically fire them, right? If they're not, overperforming even, right?
Yeah, well, and Opie's girlfriend is just trying to help him out, and help him keep his job, but also this reflects poorly on her after she went to all this trouble to get him this job. If the boss is like, this guy just sits in his cubicle playing action figures all day, like, why would you send him my way?
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, 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 tell us the judgment that OP's earned. You're the jerk, and you should apologize to humanity. I mean, a little extreme on the...
Yeah, I think the only apology needed is to the girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. Like, maybe to the girlfriend, maybe to the boss.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, all of humanity...
It's a little much. I think the wheel is just... the power is going to its head.
Yes. The wheel has tasted power, and it's gone to its head. It's gone drunk with power. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for wanting my PS4 back? A few years ago for Christmas, my fiance bought me a PS4. Within the last year or so, I haven't really been playing it as much, and I've gotten into PC gaming. I also have a Switch that I play a lot, but there's specific games that I only play on the PS4. My fiance used the PS4 a lot more than me, as typically a few nights a week he'll play online with his friends. Well, this Christmas I got him a PS5. Skip to about a month in, and he offered it to one of his friend's girlfriends because she wanted to get into gaming. Originally, he approached this idea to me, and I wasn't into it because I was still using the PS4. Granted, not nearly as much as my PC. Thanks, Sims, lol. Now there was a second console. I was playing with the idea of bringing it to my work to use. I work in a homeless shelter with the youth. And I hadn't made any concrete decisions yet, though. My fiance never approached the idea to me again until a few months later when I was at work. He and his friend come by and pick up the PS4 and told me afterwards. At the time, I expressed not being happy about it and asked for it back. I was told that they were only borrowing it for 2 months and then I would get it back. I didn't love the idea, but at the same time, I decided to let the issue go as I wasn't using it as much as my other consoles at the time. Well, skip to now, it's been 2 months, and I'm being told that potentially I'll have to wait a few years before getting it back. The timeline was about 2 months because they are apparently moving out of country, but now said the girlfriend is attending university program, which is usually 4 years long. My fiance said that I could technically have it back whenever I wanted to, but that it would make me a selfish person, and he refused to ask his friend for it back. I won't get into the details of the argument, but my stance is that I don't think that it's right that he gave away something that was mine. Yes, he did buy it for me without my permission, and I told him that I wasn't using it as much, but it should have been my choice what happened to it. His stance is that because I barely used it, I'm selfish for wanting it back. I keep going back and forth with this in my head. Sorry for the long post. Am I the jerk for wanting my PS4 back? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. What he did is theft. He gave you this. This was yours. He took it without your consent and gave it away to someone else. Like this whole, oh, well, it's going to be a couple of months. Oh, well, it's going to be a few years. He gave it away. There's no definite timeline. He's going to put this off forever. He's already said he won't get it back, and he's trying to guilt trip you. Like at this point in time, I would take a look at the relationship in general and see if this is one you want to continue with.
Mm-hmm.
Because his behavior here is not okay. And if you do want to get the PS4 back, it's going to do significant damage to the relationship, but that may be what the relationship needs.
Yeah. Step 1, find your partner's PS5. Step 2, lock it away somewhere. Step 3, tell him that if he wants to see his PS5 ever again, that he gets your PS4 back. Step 4, when he returns your PS4, dump him. That's how you get your PS4 back. If he doesn't give you your PS4 back, guess what? You just acquired a new PS5. Like, I'm not saying that that's ethical, but, you know, he stole your property and you can take, because it was a present that he gave you, and now you're just returning the favor. I mean, I know it's a childish thing, right? But I kind of feel like in this particular case, eye for an eye is, not necessarily the worst thing in the world if it's not a relationship that you're wanting to salvage, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was more of the give him an ultimatum type of thing. Like, let him know that you either this PS4 comes back to me, but if I have to get it back myself, then we are over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you really want to approach things and whether you value the relationship at this point. Because he doesn't seem like he's treating you well.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we don't have a full picture of the relationship. But if he thinks he can just get rid of your stuff willy-nilly because you're not using it, is he going to do this with other items because his friends want them?
Yeah. Well, and the fact of the matter is that he told OP 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that they were moving away and that it would be much harder for her to retrieve the PS4 after they had already moved, right? So this was a planned, calculated manipulation tactic that he used to manipulate OP. And OP was under the impression that their partner wasn't a manipulative piece of garbage, but apparently he is. And I think that is really important for them to know now. What other things is he going to manipulate OP about? That's the real question here. And I think that OP shouldn't stick around to find out, because a good partner isn't going to, lie to you, deceive you, and then try to manipulate you into, following their will, right? So I just think that they've got the raw deal here. I mean, I feel bad because they, found out this way that their partner is not a great person, but it's better to find out now than after you're married, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why shouldn't you hug a zombie?
Well, I mean, one, you shouldn't hug a zombie because zombies don't really exist. And if you were hugging a zombie, then it would probably be a sign of like psychosis. And so that's probably one of the good reasons not to hug a zombie at that point in time. And if you do and you think you are hugging a zombie, well, you might be hugging something else and you don't necessarily know what that something else is. And so yeah, probably bad on all accounts here. So I wouldn't hug a zombie.
That's a no-brainer.
Oh, that's a no-brainer?
Yes.
Yeah. It is. Like, I mean, everything that I said
Well,
is a no-brainer.
this is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, why shouldn't you hug a zombie?
Because
That's a
they're not real.
no-brainer. No, like, you were ruining my punchline.
I like your punchline. It's very fine, thank you.
And today is National Hug Holiday Week.
So go find yourself some zombies and hug them, apparently.
No, you don't have to hug. I told you not to hug zombies.
Yes.
Find actual consenting humans to hug if you
Yes.
want to.
And zombies.
No, pets. You can hug your pets too if they like hugs.
And if you have a pet zombie, hug it.
No.
And I have the special guest tea, Samacha.
I mean, there's a movie, Fido, with a pet zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, named Fido.
There's also like the end of the Shaun of the Dead where he's treating
Oh,
his
yeah,
friend
yeah.
like a pet, essentially.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful, wacky Wednesday, folks. I hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
You can play with toys, but if you're staying employed, not in your boss's sight.
I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!